Hello, and welcome to Ms. PM Reads Christian Content, where we are continuing in Abscond by GG Wagner. And in our last video, we covered two chapters. The first one was the meeting where Lyzee found out she's not doing real great in school right now because she's not turning in her assignments on time, if at all. And she's being distracted by Milo's text messaging. And he told her that he wants to come and see her for her 18th birthday. The next chapter was birthday. And unfortunately, she woke up and her mom was pretty much in a comatose state from doing drugs, but she was not overdosed. So Lyzee did not have to use the Narcan nasal spray to revive her. She just kind of left her passed out. So these are, for some of us, perhaps topics we're not familiar with, but for others of us, these kinds of situations are very real. So stick with me. Let's see, throughout the book, what's going to happen to Lyzee. All right. It may get bad before it gets better. I'm not sure. This is titled The Date. Groping under the bed, Lyzee's hand landed on her safe. She sat cross-legged and pulled a cold metal box onto her lap. The key turned easily in the tiny lock, and when she opened the lid, a paper fluttered to the floor. Her eye followed the first line of the fragile sheet, and she read aloud. Virginia State Department of Health, Division of Vital Statistics. She scanned down the page and read another line. Mother, Shasta B. James. Father, unknown. A lump formed in her throat. It was pointless to torture herself. Lyzee knew that if there had been a name on that line, chances are nothing would have been any different, just another person to disappoint her. The memorial card for Rory stared up at her, the carefree smile and eyes so full of light she couldn't help but smile back. A haze of tears covered Lyzee's eyes until her friend disappeared. A shiver worked its way up from deep inside Lyzee's shoulders, and she trembled. She wiped at the wetness that streamed her cheeks, and with all the gentleness she could muster, laid the card on top of the stack. The tower of papers next to her leg continued to mount as Lyzee neared the bottom of the safe. She reached for the last item, a plump envelope, and slid her finger beneath the tattered flap to reveal a wad of cash. Her entire life's savings. Lyzee counted the money, $480, and removed 15 of the $20 bills. Okay. She laid them in plain sight on her dresser. Replacing the money was not an issue. Lyzee knew what her mom was going to do. She felt sick to her stomach, realizing she didn't care. Mom, are you awake? Lyzee reached to pat her mom's back, but retracted in midair. What was she doing? She sunk next to the bed with her arm outstretched and cringed when her fingers finally brushed her mom's bony back. She rationalized her actions while waiting for her mom to rouse. It shouldn't be her obligation to protect her mom from herself. Isn't it past time she thought about what was best for her? Her mom rolled over and Lyzee withdrew, scrunching her nose. The still incoherent words hung in puffs of unpleasant smelling breath. Lyzee paused at a safe distance and covered her mouth with her hand, breathing in a lingering burst of freshness from the soap she had used earlier. She watched her mom struggle from the bed, then disappear into the bathroom. I'm going to get ready, then go out for a run, Lyzee yelled through the closed door. She heard her mom thud into a wall and then the heaving. Lyzee's face contorted. She would clean that up when she got back. A few minutes later, Lyzee emerged from her room dressed in her tank and running shorts. She paused outside the door and looked down at her hand, hovering over the lock mechanism. It took all of her will, but she pulled her hand back and turned to leave. The pounding of her feet on the blacktop pushed her mind to autopilot, and all the thoughts of her mom faded. Lyzee's pace was becoming more consistent, and her breathing controlled with a courtesy horn bleat from behind, making her head jerk. She raised a hand to acknowledge the driver. Only then did she realize how far she had veered from the side of the road. Lyzee turned her wrist to glance at the display screen on her Fitbit, and an image of Rory crowded in. She was wearing the identical watch. Rory's mom bought everything in twos, like they were twins. Lyzee's shoulders drooped as snapshots of the two of them flashed across her brain. Her feet continued to pound, while she grappled to come up with a distracting thought. She surprised herself and recalled the verse from Danny's sermon last week. I am the vine, ye are the branches, that he abides in me and I in him. The same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, ye can do nothing. John 15:5. Lyzee struggled with memorization, but after Danny's crazy illustration on the whiteboard, she would never forget it. Lyzee felt a warm smile emerge, and she imagined Rory unable to withstand the stick figure drawings of their well-meaning youth pastor, commandeering the pen. With a shake of her head, the same way one would clear an etch-a-sketch, Lyzee erased the thought. After a few more soul-cleansing steps, she flicked her wrist to concentrate on the display. It only took a second for the number to register, and her jaw went slack. 5 miles. Lyzee didn't want to think about turning around. Going home meant that it was time to face her guilty conscience. But with a sudden thought of Milo, a new energy ignited her muscles. The rhythmic movement of her body correlated with her music. Lyzee ran in rapid cadence until she fell into a comfortable stride. The thrill of Milo's visit had Lyzee floating on air and wouldn't have noticed she was almost at the end of her run had it not been for the deceleration of the hyped up beats in her earbuds. She flipped her wrist to reveal her time, 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 34 seconds, and slowed to a fast walk while she focused on regulating her breathing. Opening the front door, Lyzee absorbed the quiet, her hand frozen over the knob. She forced shaky legs to carry her down the hall, paused in front of the open door to her bedroom. The money was gone. She knew it would be. Lyzee crumbled onto the squeaky bed and buried her face in the pillow. An internal battle raged, making it impossible to hold still, and she leaped to her feet, pacing like a caged animal. There was no undoing it. Her mom was going to do what she was going to do. She couldn't think about that now. Lyzee opened her closet door and rummaged through the hangers. She reached for the tattered robe that hung unassumingly between a graying white t-shirt and her favorite faded pink sweater. The worn zipper got caught as Lyzee tugged, and she worked at it, tugging back and forth until she revealed the concealed dress. With a snip of the scissors, the store tag landed on the floor. If her mom had found her hiding spot with these tags still attached, she could have easily returned it and kept the money Tara had paid. The thought made her shudder. Lyzee held the hanger just under her chin and spun toward the mirror. The elegance of the dress with its lantern sleeves and floral print looked out of place on her, but she hoped Milo didn't notice. And we're going to go ahead and stop there. This is a little bit of a longer section. So she's definitely gotten her mom out of the house like she had planned and is getting dressed for her date with Milo. Okay. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you next time. We'll see how Lyzee's birthday turns out. All right.